were a lot of minutes. Angie, those were long minutes this time. You did a good job. Where did you like it best out west?
Has Ron been able to join us?
Yeah. Coeur d'Alene, it's beautiful there.
Yeah.
It sure is. Yeah.
Oh,
Now, Seattle, it rains so much. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Almost as much as here.
More. We could
in
see,
Seattle, the vegetation reminds you of being up in Castro.
it does. It's that,
Rhododendron,
oh, all over.
hemlocks, evergreens, everywhere you look. It's just-
Everywhere.
Wow.
Not much color in the fall. Because most of the trees are evergreen, not deciduous like ours.
I like a deciduous tree.
I do too.
Y'all texted him to see if he's remoting in.
He might be. Is that- Did you vote yet? Was it crowded?
Little.
Yeah.
See if we-
Is that? Okay, give him a minute. Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Liz.
Yeah, needed. Unmute then. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Call the meeting to order today of Jackson County Board of Commissioners, October 20th, 2020. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
so moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next is the approval of the minutes. We only have one copy to approve. That's the September.
Hi, the person you're about to speak with has call captions turned on. They'll see captions of what you say to help them listen along.
Okay.
That's nice, lady.
Yeah.
That kind of helps out.
The only minutes we have is September the 15th, 2020. After having a chance to review those in advance, it's distributed by the clerk. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, all opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Administrative reports. I don't have anything to report today under chairman's report. Commissioner Dietz, we'll start with you.
I don't want to be political, but, well, it's not political. I've been up around the polls in early voting, several times. And, it's kind of amazing how smooth everything's going and how well prepared our people have been.
Mhm.
And they're very prideful themselves and tickled about how well it's gone. And I think they should be complimented for that.
Very true. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Woody?
Yes, we had the Board of Health meeting last Monday, and it was a very good meeting. And one of the things that I was so gratified to hear was just the continued efforts in light of the COVID situation. They have worked very hard to keep all their different departments going, environmental health and restaurant inspections. And one thing that I thought I would like all the commissioners to know is that because they had done some groundwork earlier with meeting with restaurants in person and trying to help them prepare for when they would reopen during the close down, restaurants, because they reached out first, restaurants have therefore called them back. And when they've had an issue, they've reached out to our health department and gotten the help they've needed. And because of that, a lot of these restaurants have been able to bounce back and serve our community safely. And I was so pleased to hear that. And then the last thing was that the rapid response machine for testing that they ordered early on should come next week. There had been a delay because of a back order. As you can imagine, lots of orders for these rapid response machines. But the machine should be here this next week with the chemicals and all that go with it to offer those tests, which will really help with our situation here in Jackson County.
Okay. Commissioner Mao, I'll recognize you next.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Sorry for being late. I am actually standing outside of a hospital in Omaha where my dad's located. I just messed up on the time zone difference and was thinking, okay, our meeting's at 1 o'clock and my phone says it's noon still. So sorry about that. So it's drizzly and 38 degrees out here, and it reminds me of what I did this last weekend. I just want to remind everybody it's that time of year where people need firewood, and the Department of Aging, along with Color United Methodist Church, we delivered a bunch of firewood this past Saturday, and again, that's ongoing. They are doing a little bit different this year because of COVID. It's not the big mass group. People are coming in chopping wood 1 week and then being a little more careful with how it gets delivered. But we did get 30 woods of wood delivered on Saturday, and just want to remind everybody, keep if you have the opportunity to volunteer on those Saturdays, please do.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Luker?
Mr. Chairman, no report. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I hope everybody's doing well. You do have the manager's report in front of you. The first item is just an ongoing monthly report of zoning and building permits. And as you can see, for the month of September, the planning department issued 1 commercial zoning permit and 1 renovation addition permit. Code enforcement issued 1 commercial permit and 2 renovation addition permits. Again, when you look at the report itself, you'll see that it shows you the zoning district, the owner, business name, the work permitted, and the location of the work itself. The next item is in regards to the community services center. The parking lot is expected to be paved in the next couple of weeks. The punch list, which is the items to be completed or finalized, is expected to be completed by the end of October. I've rescheduled for the furniture to be delivered on November 30th. That's basically the Monday after Thanksgiving. It'll take a couple weeks for that furniture to be, once it's delivered, to be put together and installed, and then with hopes that we can begin moving in the facility the month of December. Next item is you do have enclosed in your packets, it's attachment 3. It's just a summary of the overall Jackson County response rate for the 2020 census. And you can see the response rate did increase 3.2% from the 2010 response rate. We do have Mr. Poston here. If you have a chance to read through the numbers, if you have any questions, he'll be happy to answer. I do think it's a good thing that we're able to increase our response rate from the 2010 census. The next item is you do have enclosed in your packets the municipal grant application. Grant applications for municipalities will be accepted from them until December 4th, 2020. The applications will be presented to the Board of Commissioners during the December work session, and awards by this board to be made by the mid-month meeting in December. The final item you do have enclosed in your packets, the Blue Ridge School Water and Wastewater Project. This project has been going on for quite a while. I do know that the environmentals got held up for almost a year in regards to this project. Just a reminder, everybody, the county was awarded $1 million grant from CDBG program to basically fix the water issue and wastewater issues that are occurring at Blue Ridge School. Excuse me, as you can see, let me get my, as you can see, we are out to bid at this point. We're having a pre-bid meeting tomorrow, actually on site. The bids are due to be received November 5th. And then as you can see, the proposed completion construction date is around June 15th, 2021. The only other items that's not listed on my report is if you haven't heard or seen information on this, jury trials have resumed in this facility. It's actually effective, I believe, the 15th of October, but the first jury trial won't occur in this facility until first week of November. So Monday, November 2nd and Tuesday, November 3rd, we will have courts in this room here. And so there will be actually a lot of people roaming the halls in this side of the building related to courts. I am going to work with staff here to try to ensure that they are able to stay separated and work through, all the issues related to COVID-19 and just try to ensure the safety of staff on this side of the floor. At one point, the chairman and I was talking about on Tuesday, November 3rd, the potential of moving this meeting to a different location, but I just looked on the bottom of your agenda and we actually have a public hearing already advertised and scheduled. So we'll do the best we can. Hopefully the courts have worked real well with us. If they know that we have a night meeting to get out of here, I'll try to, by 5 o'clock, I'll try to get housekeeping in to clean the facility down and get us ready for our November 3rd meeting. The only other thing is I would ask the board to start looking at your December calendars. You may see that in December, the meeting dates fall, they fall, I wouldn't say a little bit different, but ultimately you can see that the first Tuesday of the month is December 1st. And then you do have to have an organizational meeting the first Monday of the month, which is December 7th. And so I would just ask the board, this will have to be an item that we'll just put up on an upcoming agenda to start looking at those meeting dates. Because also December 7th, going back to the courts, as I was discussing with the board earlier, basically we're going to have this jury trial conflict at least once a month, and generally it's going to be the first week of the month. And so the December 7th date, December 7th and 8th, which December 7th is a Monday, we'll also have courts scheduled here. So again, when we start talking about organizational meeting, a couple of new board members and so forth, we need to just have this topic on an upcoming agenda to talk about where do we want to meet, how do we want to work and deal with these upcoming meetings, especially with the conflict with the courts. Second, I'd like to recognize maintenance staff. As you may have read in the newspaper, there was an unfortunate incident that occurred Tuesday, October 6th off of Savannah Road, really right next to the old courthouse, where there was a private maintenance crew working on a house where they had dug out next to the house, and they were actually trying to waterproof the basement, and basically had the ditch collapse and trapped a couple of individuals. And we had a really good community response. I was talking to Todd Dillard, our emergency management coordinator, and he couldn't say enough about everybody. I mean, the law enforcement, EMS, rescue, CHWASA, Town of Silva, everybody responded. But I do want to point out some specific county maintenance people that responded, because these gentlemen were literally in there digging these folks out by hand. And these are Ira Jones, Randy Cave, Greg Norman, Jake Brooks, Dustin Cope, Daniel Morrison, Hunter Stanley. These gentlemen showed up, didn't ask any questions, just followed the directions from Todd, and really was instrumental in helping really save these individuals. So I just want to publicly recognize our maintenance crew. And then finally, I just want to mention that, as you're aware, unfortunately, the county manager, my executive assistant, Jan Fitzgerald, is moving on. She has decided to take a position down at the tax office. We have Miss Ash here to look at about this, but I'm excited for Jan. I believe it's a good opportunity for her, and I just want to wish her well. She served me in this county awesomely in the last multiple years, and just a reminder, we do have myself and Heather and Angie are throwing just a little dessert party, I guess if you want to call it, Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 here. And if you want to stop by and just wish her well, that'd be great. Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Okay. Any questions for our manager? Okay, thank you. Sir. Go ahead.
I'm
Ms. Wood.
sorry, it slipped my mind. I did have a question about the, why did it take a year for that evaluation up at Blue Ridge? I mean, is there a reason, the location or seems like that's such a long time.
It is a long time. It was a very long time. And where we're at on the schedule, this is also going to be an upcoming conversation when this contract will have to be voted on by this board.
Okay.
And we are running out of time on the CDBG grant.
Yeah.
I've had I know the leadership of these programs. I've known them for decades. That's how we were made aware of these funds, and they've reached out to me with some concerns. These funds were made available several years ago because the federal government was working with the state of North Carolina and basically mandated that North Carolina expend these CDBG funds or they would revert back to the federal government.
Okay.
And so that's why they started coming out with special programs such as this helping the schools. Honestly, we'd have to go back and ask that question of Mr. Lofquist, and then also Daniel Manring, who was directly in charge and behind working with the environmentals. But again, there was a government shutdown in the middle of this. There were several things that impacted
I remember now.
the environmentals that really has delayed this project. And right now we're feeling like I'm going to go to the pre-bid conference tomorrow. I'm trying to get, find out, make sure we're getting assurances from the contractors that they can complete within the timeline. Victor has reached out to manufacturers of the equipment, and we found out that there's probably about 8 weeks of lead time on the equipment. So as of right now, and also Victor is stating that weather should not play a large role in some of this installation. So right now, Victor is saying he is comfortable that contractors should be able to reach the deadline, but ultimately it's becoming tight for us to receive this $1 million grant.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't think we have anybody signed up for informal comments unless someone's going down. Next is our consent agenda. We'll hear from Ms. Fox first for the finance report for September 2020, followed by the budget ordinance amendment and project ordinance amendment.
Good afternoon. I'll go over the highlights for the month of September. The general fund revenues collected to date is $21,548,328. That's 31.93% of budget. The expenditures are $16,282,288. That's 25.06% of the budget. The revenues at this point is $5,266,040 more than the expenditures. A little over $4 million of that's accounts receivables that will be reverted to last fiscal year. The Avalon taxes collected, $12,673,056. That's 36.25% of budget. And the motor vehicle taxes, $419,344. That's 28.89% of budget. The prior year tax collected, $251,711. That's 27.95% of budget. The sales tax for September, which represented June sales, was up 17.06% more than last June sales.
Wow.
So, the end of year percentage above the prior fiscal year was 10.29%. The amount collected was $1,606,382. The Article 46 tax was $180,334.54. The landfill disposal fees collected, $560,786. That's 29.71% of budget. And the prior year landfill disposal fees is $21,076. That's 35.13% of budget. The growth revenues were tracking the environmental health and register of deeds. Environmental health's 30.35% above where they normally would be. And the register of deeds is 41% above where they normally would be. The general fund contingency of balance is $889,796. I'd be glad to answer any questions on the report.
Any questions about the finance report? Okay. If not, then we'll look at the amendments to the budget and the project ordinance of the budget.
The first amendment is general fund. It's an increase of $1,401,242.68. $1,133,581 of that is public safety payroll reimbursement from the CARES Act. Also, we have Governor's Crime Commission COVID-19 emergency grant of $21,970.34. Also, a COVID grant for Adult Protective Services and Children Protective Services for DSS, $34,975. And the following two is COVID for Health Department. We have one for $67,821 for prevention program and enhancing detection activities, $136,395. We have 3 insurance settlements, and that amount is $6,500.34. The project ordinance amendment is an increase of $224,326. That's transferred from general fund for construction for the Dillsboro Complex Project Fund.
Okay, any questions about these two amendments? Okay, thank you, Ms. Fox.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear our tax collector refund reports for September 2020. Recognize Ms. Henson.
afternoon.
That's good.
The 2020 taxes collected for the county were $4,981,939. And the delinquent taxes collected were $107,621. The total deposited for September was $5,323,117.02. And also for the month of September, there were overpayment refunds of $13,063.76 and releases of $19,478.55. Question?
Thank you, ma'am. We've heard all three items on the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board concerning the approval of the consent agenda?
I move we approve those 3 items on the consent agenda.
Okay, have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Woody.
Yes.
Commissioner Dees.
Yes.
Chairman Mack.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, next is new business, item 4, the Animal Rescue Center Green Energy Park bid award. Recognize Mr. Adams to highlight this item.
Yes, sir. We just added this letter. What you do have is a letter in from McMillan, Pazin and Smith, who is the architect of record, who is recommending accepting the bid provided by H&M Constructors in the amount of $4,093,000. This is inclusive lump sum given for the main project and for the walking trails. What you should also have included in your package is a new chart that sort of reorganized numbers that you'd already seen. And as you can see, under the H&M Constructors contract, you would have the base bid of $4,093,000 plus alternate 1, 2, 5, and 7. Alternate 1 being for the generator, alternate 2 being for the epoxy floor, alternate 5 being for the public restroom, and 7 to be for the storage building. So a total contract award to H&M Constructors would be $4,333,500. And then, of course, you see all the other costs associated with the project. So a total project cost of $5,614,326. The project ordinance amendment that the board just passed previously has put enough monies in the budget to award this contract. So it is recommended that the board award the contract to H&M Constructors to include the base bid, the walking trail, and alternates 1, 2, 5, and 7. And then I have backup information in there, the original, what you've already seen, the certified bid tab, and then the last page was just the original information that you had seen.
Okay. We've heard the presentation, and is there someone willing to make a motion to award the contract to H&M Constructors for the base bid to include the walking trails and alternates 1, 2, 5, and 7?
I move that we accept this bid.
Okay, have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, question or discussion? Okay, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dees.
No.
Commissioner Woody.
Yes.
Commissioner Luker.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Chairman Mack.
Yes, motion carries 4-1.
So the next step is we'll proceed forward with developing an actual contract. We'll give them the notice that they've been awarded the contract as the low bidder, and staff will now finalize contract with them and bring it back to the board.
And just as a question for Ms. Baker, I don't know under the new remote meeting laws, it may have changed, but does it matter that the majority vote was not present? That the break?
No, because you can do everything remotely now.
Okay.
So under the remote zero.
Under the old rules,
Yes, once the state of emergency is gone, it would go back, and we would have an issue, but not now. because
Okay.
of the remote.
I wanted to make sure, so then it won't get in a legal bind on that. Okay. All right.
But there's still two here.
Okay. So we get this pulled up for you. Next item of discussion is the information regarding the Appalachian Women's Museum request. Should be tab number 5. Ultimately, I didn't have the email in here. There was an official email that did come from the Appalachian Women's Museum that was requesting that the total amount as listed in the engineer's estimate of $34,760 be made available for this project. Since then, I've had follow-up conversations with the Women's Museum. And so there was a question about water also. Now, it's my understanding that TWASA has ran the water basically to the house near where the old water hookup used to be. The Appalachian Women's Museum will have to pay for somebody to make that small hookup from the stub out from the house to TWASA. And I would just recommend going through and if the board wishes to proceed forward, is just allocating up to $34,760 towards this project. That would allow them to proceed forward with design and would allow them to get bids in. And then the engineer could include that in the bid, which hopefully it's not that much money. It could be the same plumber that would do the connection. And if anything changed, then they can just come back and discuss this with the board.
Thank you for clarifying that, because we did wonder about that.
And then, they did show me some other engineering estimates that may be different from this. So I think ultimately the request to the board, what I would recommend to the board is you would award up to this amount and they would just proceed forward and submit invoices to the county for payment based upon where they're at in the project. And if it's less money, then it would cost us less money.
We have a motion then to award up to $34,760 to this endeavor.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion then. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Mao,
Yes.
Commissioner Luker,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Deep,
Yes.
Chairman Knight.
Yes, motion carries. Item 6 is the Jackson Community Services deed restrictions.
Yes, sir. I'm just requesting for permission to allow staff to proceed forward to put restrictions onto this property where the community services facility is, the health department. And ultimately, I'm just going to go to the page where it really identifies the wording in the restriction and would request that the board approve this wording and allow staff to proceed forward with putting these restrictions onto the property.
Did you get clarification about the survey?
Yeah, I did get I went back to NEO and they basically stated it's not needed and not recommended.
All right, so we're being requested to approve this language for a restriction on this piece of property in an identified area next to that health department building. Is there a motion to approve the request?
I move that we approve this request.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Deep,
Yes.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Luker,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Mao,
Yes.
Chairman Knight.
Yes, motion carries. Next is item 7, the 2021 holiday schedule.
Staff is just requesting the board approve approve the 2021 holiday schedule.
So we have that on the screen and in your packets. Is there a motion to approve this schedule?
So moved.
All right, have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Now,
Yes.
Commissioner Luker,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Commissioner Dees,
Yes.
Chairman Mack.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, next is our legislative portion. Item 8, special event, New Year's Day 5K race. This is a standard ordinance that we have to approve. Ms. Baker?
Yes, the last several years, you've approved the 2 ordinances for the 2 races that the county sponsors. This one here, the first one is New Year's Day. The second one is Greening Up the Mountains. We don't know if these events will happen this year or if they will happen in the same way that they usually do, but we wanted to go ahead and get the ordinances approved. And what this does is allow them to change traffic pattern. It does not close the road in either case, but with your approval of the ordinance, it allows them to change the traffic pattern on that day to make these safer. So this is the New Year's one, and then this is the Greening Up the Mountains.
Okay. We'll take these one at a time then for item 8, the New Year's Day. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dees,
Yes,
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Luker,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Now,
Yes.
Chairman Mack.
Yes, motion carries. And then item 9 is the Greening Up the Mountains. Is there a motion to approve it?
I move.
So moved.
Okay, motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Now,
Yes.
Commissioner Luker,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Commissioner Dees.
Yes.
Chairman Mack.
Yes, motion carries. Then item 10 is the Cullowhee Planning Council. They have some names. We still have 3 vacancies. That would be myself, Commissioner Woody, and Commissioner Luker. Commissioner Woody, you have a name, is
I
that
do.
correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And this individual is Carol Burton, who has lived in the Cullowhee area for a long time. Recently purchased a house, well, in the last several years on Buzzards Roost, but is an employee at Western Carolina University and held administrative positions there. Is very familiar with the Cullowhee area, and I feel would serve our board very well.
all right, so you're making a motion to appoint Carol Burton for your vacancy. Is there a
Yes, I
second?
move that we,
Is there a second to Commissioner Woody's motion?
Second.
All right, any question or discussion? And I'm assuming Commissioner Luker, you're like myself, you don't have a name.
I do, sir.
You do have a name?
I don't back out. Stay calm, sir.
All right. All right, well, let's go ahead.
Remain calm and breathe.
Do what?
I said, remain calm and breathe.
Okay, I'll breathe. Well, do you want to go ahead and present your name? We can just vote on them together?
If that's okay with whoever made the motion. I lost you, sir.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay.
Commissioner Luker, I was asking Angie, has that name gone through her for the background check and so forth? That's the name.
Has your candidate gone through the process of being vetted through the background check process?
It was my understanding that he has gone through that and it has came back.
What's your name?
Tom Talby.
Is that the county spot, Mickey, and not the Cullowhee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, okay, we're on the wrong one then. So you don't have a name for the Cullowhee Planning Council?
No, sir. No.
All right. So we're back to square one.
Dang it.
Yeah, you had me excited about that and you didn't have it. All right, so we got a motion and a second then to approve, we did get a second, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Woody's appointment to the planning council. I don't have a name, and so obviously now Commissioner Luker doesn't have a name. So we just have the one name to present, Ms. Carol Burton. So any other comments or questions? All right, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dees?
Yeah.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Luker?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Mount?
I didn't hear Angie, but yes.
Chairman McNamara?
Yes, motion carries. All right, next is the planning board. Commissioner Luker, now is your opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, for my position there, Tom Talby.
Okay. All right, and what was the name again?
Tom Talby.
Colby?
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioner Deets, do you have a name for today? Okay, we'll carry that one over. So, Commissioner Luker, you put that in the form of a motion then?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any question or discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Mount?
Yes.
Commissioner Luker?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Woody?
Yes.
Commissioner Dees?
Yes.
Chairman McNamara?
Yes, motion carries. All right, and the solid waste board, item 12. Benjamin Woods and Betty Fody both have agreed to serve another term on the solid waste board if we so choose to appoint them. Commissioner Mao, Commissioner Luker, I know those were your appointments. Does either one of y'all want to make a motion on those?
I'll make a motion that both remain on, sir.
Okay, have a motion to reappoint both these individuals. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dees?
Yes.
Commissioner Woody?
Yes.
Commissioner Luker?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Mount?
Yes.
Chairman McNamara?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us to the end of our regular agenda. Let me check with the press here to see who might have a follow-up question. I'll start with Beth from the Silver Herald. I'll allow you to unmute. Beth, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Next is Holly Bowman. Holly, do you have any follow-up questions?
Yeah, just one quick one. The project ordinance for the animal shelter originally was 5.39 million, and the total cost outlined with today's vote is 5.61. So does there have to be a separate vote to amend the project ordinance, or does today's vote serve that purpose?
The vote that we held during our consent agenda, the project ordinance amendment that was presented by Ms. Fox provides the additional funds necessary to make up the difference and to complete the funding for that project.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Is there anybody else on? Okay. All right, that brings us to the end. There's no need for closed session today, so do I have a motion then that we adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ron, hope your dad does okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the best to you, Ron, and your family. It wasn't so cold today.
No.